Let me know in the chat if you have questions for them, and we'll get started. Okay, we'll start with Jake Curtis, Cal Sports Report.
Yeah, Peter, I guess you're going in pads tomorrow. Is that going to be similar to last Saturday? And what do you hope to get out of it?
Yeah, I think right now the plan is similar to last Saturday. We're gonna have it segmented, essentially basically some different quarters, so we can get some more designated situations that we want. But there'll be some opportunities to go live. So what we want to see is just the development of the technique and the fundamentals, and we've really been stressing on how to finish plays, and for the linebackers especially when the ball's on the perimeter, better technique of getting the ball on the ground and using our leverage and continuing to emphasize tackling and valuing every yard.
Okay.
Any particular
Go ahead, Jake.
group or player has shown particular development recently?
When it goes like this in spring, you see a lot of guys develop, and then some guys are asked to play multiple positions as you're developing kind of the depth in the roster. Someone like Colin Gamble, he's playing obviously in the secondary, but he's playing inside a little bit, playing outside a little bit. And today he showed up again, made a play. Miles Williams, I've been pleased with his progress. He's a player that comes with good energy. He's very vocal in the back end. Coach Trey's just continuing to coach him up, but he's another player that is a younger guy that we've been pleased with and seeing his progress.
Okay. Sorry, I was multitasking a little bit there. Dave, was that your question? Are you in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Next question is Trace Travers from Rivals.
Or Dave had a question before me.
I thought you had one. Dave, did you have a question?
Just now that I guess 10, 11 practices with Coyne moving outside, how is he doing? Is it on schedule? Has he surprised you? Is he, what's your evaluation of that move so far?
Well, we feel really good about that move. He has all the tools to do it. The biggest thing that he needs to make progress with is just the mental part of the game. And I know Coach Hayward's doing a great job with him in the meetings. Cam Good is another resource to bounce some technique questions off. So Coyne's been very involved, and as he gets more and more reps, he'll get even better. But we've been really pleased with the move so far.
Is he doing any work inside at all?
We're devoting him primarily outside right now. So he hasn't been with me this spring, no.
Good. Okay, thanks.
Okay. We'll go to Trace Travers from Rivals.
Yeah, Coach, good morning. I want to ask about, you brought up Coach Watson there. You were on the staff at Washington when he played there. I guess what stood out about him as a player that made you guys feel comfortable bringing him into the fold?
What Trey was as a playmaker was he was an overachiever. He didn't have all the tools that some of the guys did, and you have to kind of reflect. That was the true font. There were some pretty good players. Marcus Peters. There were some players that were exceptionally talented. But Trey found a way to fight into the lineup. He was always a playmaker. He could track the ball. He was instinctual, yet he knew when he could and could not take risk because he understood the scheme. And it's been great to know the heart of a person that you're bringing onto the staff. And I think that's a big part of it is I think, in these two hires on the defensive side of the ball, at least, I think Justin did a really great job of finding the best candidates, not necessarily just, this person has to coach this position, but finding good people to bring into the organization, the team, and we'll get them coached up, and they'll bring their own level of expertise to us as well.
Yeah, and considering your familiarity with both Coach Hayward and Coach Watson, how easy has it been to kind of integrate them into the scheme and have that teach them so they can teach others?
Well, the first thing is they're selfless, and that's what you're looking for. Is this isn't about the coaches. This is about getting the best opportunity to put our players in positions. There is some technical things, and there's a lot of decisions on how we coach and how we instruct. How we celebrate certain behaviors and other behaviors that you try to minimize. So it's all about guys coming together as a defensive staff and being cohesive and doing what's best for the greater good.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Jim McGill from Barron Center.
Hey, Peter, can you talk a little bit about how the early entry defensive guys have been integrated and how they've been doing so far, being about 2/3 of the way through spring? Achille and Ray and Pat, Nate. I don't know if I'm missing anybody there.
Yeah, Caleb Higgins as well. We'll start in the back end, and then please, I'm not great with remembering everybody all the time, but Caleb Higgins, he has really good tools. He is a long, lanky player. He is competitive. He's still growing into his body, how I would say it. He has good body control, but there's things that Coach B will do a great job, and I think we'll see big strides with how his body moves. Ray Woody is exactly what we thought he was. He's a very bright player. He's got good tools. There's a little bit of a learning curve. It's almost easier sometimes coming from a blank slate than what he was trained in. So there's some carryover from what he was doing at Florida State, and then there's some things that you have to kind of untrain yourself for what you've been trained to do. But he's coming along really well. He's showing up every day. He's a hard worker, and he fits in really well with the back end. Hunter Barth, he had a play today in man-to-man on tight end that he did a really good job with his eye control. He's got really good size. You stand up on him. Hunter's a big, long, good-looking athlete. Looks at you right in the eyes, and he's going to be a guy that I think again will develop really well with Coach B down there in the weight room and Coach Trey. Nate Ricina, transitioning from kind of a perimeter player in high school, playing some safety, playing some wide receiver, occasionally played some outside linebacker, but to get him closer into the box, he's shown a few flashes of what an inside linebacker should look like. He has a lot of physical development to do, but we knew that going in, and that's why we asked, thought it was best for him to delay enrollment. And I think that's going to prove to be valuable for all of us in the end. Achille is a physical player at the point of attack. He's raw, but he's got good tools. He's competitive, and he likes one-on-one matchups. And you're seeing him scratch and claw and really battle in those situations. And Pat, he's put on a significant amount of weight since he's been here, so he's really taken well to the weight room. And with Coach Hayward, he's coming along. He sets a good edge. He's going to be a physical player, and he's going to be a player that can rush the quarterback, can set an edge, and then play in space. So we're excited about kind of the versatility of what his body is and how he's playing right now.
And an outside linebacker with Coyne moving out there and Braxton having a decent amount of playing time last season and Oren kind of coming on, how do you divide out those reps?
Well, right now it's pretty evenly distributed based on, we have a plan, going into practice and really every Tuesday, Thursday, prior to going into the practice schedule, I talk with Coach Browning and Coach Hayward on what are the things we want to emphasize today. How does that impact the reps and how they get divided and who wants the workload and ultimately some of the younger guys get more work because this is the opportunity for them to get that workload. So those things they're pretty evenly divided. But there's some situations that, the younger guys need to do a good job of getting some repetitions in some of the coverage work that we don't always get.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Trace Travers.
Something you mentioned the last time we talked to you last week was the development of Stanley McKenzie as an interior pass rusher. I just want to know how much does it help your defense when you can get those nose guard type bodies working in pass rush situations?
When we're when you're in a nose guard type of defense, I think typically people refer to that, you're playing with a zero nose. It's always a challenge to rush somebody when you don't give a player leverage to start the snap. And sometimes in those odd spacings, we don't give them great leverage to rush. So anytime that you can get production out of 4 techniques or zeros, it's almost like you're playing with house money. So it's, when you want opportunity to rush the quarterback, typically you put the guys on edges, 3 techniques, 9 technique, 5 techniques, and it's a lot easier to rush an edge than it is to rush a whole man. So again, Stanley's had some good reps. Ricky's had some good reps. Brett is extremely strong. So if we can push the pocket and get anything out of those guys playing zero nose, that'll be a bonus.
Could you see any of those guys as one technique in your nickel?
Yeah, all those zero noses, they have to have the versatility for us when we go into our 4-down space. Some of them have to play 1s or 2s or even 3s. Brett's a guy that can play really a 2 all the way out. You can play a 2, 3, 4, 5. Even he could play a 6 technique. So some of those guys, we try to protect them a little bit from the amount of blocks they have to recognize. And then as they get older, more mature, we expose them to more blocks.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, anybody with the final question? All right, Coach, thanks